Utah's executive branch has a designated agency meant to connect people of different backgrounds, the Division of Multicultural Affairs, the UDMA. And today we're joined by Claudia Loayza, the Communication and Community Engagement Coordinator with the UDMA. Now, Claudia, first of all, just talk a little bit about what this month has entailed in Utah's Hispanic Latino community.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here first off. And to answer that question, I think it's important to lead with, the Hispanic Latino community continues and has always been, I think, a very prominent community within Utah. For those that may not know, Utah was once part of Mexico, and it really has continued to be home for many, many people within this community. At the time right now, with census data that has just been released, over 490,000 people within Utah identify as Latino or Hispanic, and they make up the second largest ethnic group at 15% of the population. So this time has been really set aside to celebrate that growing population, the growing contributions and impacts that the community has made and continues to help kind of tell the story of Utah. And it really, for us as a state division, has been an opportunity for us to really elevate and seek moments to strengthen ties and elevate impact leaders and organizations that continue to connect resources to people, just like the Suazo Business Center. And as we continue into this month, I know, like you mentioned, the 15th is the end of Hispanic Heritage Month, but we hope that this continues all throughout the year, and that we kind of make time and space to continue to learn about the stories and the spaces and the histories that make up Utah, and the ties that the Latino Hispanic community has to telling that story.
You know, I love that historical connection too. You mentioned Utah being a part of Mexico for a long time, and honestly, we have so many places in southern Utah that are named with Spanish names because of that original exploration from Europeans there. I wonder, what is the when you talk about the relationship between our Hispanic Latino community and the rest of Utah? How split is that? How big is that divide, and is that a good or bad thing, and how do we bridge it?
Yeah, no, great question. Thank you for that. I think that there is, definitely pockets of Hispanic Latino communities throughout Utah, high concentration being in Salt Lake County, other in Cache County, throughout southern Utah as well. But I think what really is that connecting thread is kind of what you mentioned, that you can't tell the story of Utah without centering the experiences and the contributions of the specific community. Many of our counties have Spanish-sounding names, and I think we are continuing to understand how to better empower communities to tell their stories. And something that the Division of Multicultural Affairs believes strongly in is not necessarily giving people a voice. We believe that people already have a voice and a story to tell, and it's really just a matter of being that bridge and connecting folks to, resources and organizations that can really amplify those messages. So I think part of, bridging, as you were saying, is a lot about having an open heart and open mind, and an opportunity to, make space for people that have new and varying perspectives, and, really, push for inclusion, so that we can make sure that Utah is a thriving environment for everyone, regardless of your background.
I wanted to ask you something really basic for those of us who want to be respectful and honestly just have a knowledge gap. We hear the terms Hispanic and Latino and Latinx now. I know Chicano. I'm not always sure what is the right thing to say. And so how would you describe those terms, and how should we be talking about this?
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I think this is definitely an evolving conversation, and something that, I have very much kind of, ruminated over and discussed with in my personal experience as a Latina. And I think that the strength and power of this community is really in its agency to kind of redefine itself in terms of, where we are in society, where we are in time. And just to kind of break down some key definitions for you, Hispanic, Latino, Latinx. Those are kind of, three main terms that you use and that people use when they describe this community. And Latino is really used to describe people with ancestry from Latin America. So Central America, South America, and the Americas in general. So it is something that is derived from a Spanish word, Latino Americano. So it does imply, unlike Hispanic, just anyone that is from Latin, speaking countries, Latin kind of origin countries. Whereas Hispanic is really kind of tied to Spanish speaking countries. So that always, include Brazil or Haiti or other countries kind of along the America geography.
Oh, how interesting. Okay, that's really helpful. I do have to cut you off there because we're out of time. But Claudia Loayza, really appreciate you taking some time to talk with us.